Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and last night we had all of our Shizuoka Hobby Show 2019 reveals, so I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to jump right in because there is some pretty cool stuff here. So first up, I want to talk about the big star of the show, and that is the Master Grade Lunamaria Hawk Custom Gunner Zaku Warrior. Now, here's a kit that I never thought I'd see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff from Gundam Seed Destiny that I was pretty confident we'd see a Master Grade of someday, be it the Savior Gundam, or the Akatsuki, or the Gaia Gundam, or the Legend Gundam. But my mind never really drifted past the Gundams because it seems like Bandai always just kind of acts like everything that isn't a Gundam from Seed just doesn't exist. So it was a really welcome surprise to see the Master Grade Gunner Zaku Warrior, and I am all over this kit. Lunamaria was one of my favorite things about Gundam Seed Destiny, so it's really cool to finally see her show up in the Master Grade line. And in the same year as Lock-on Stratos too. Man, what a time to be alive. Now the Gunner Zaku Warrior is looking a little bit different from how we've seen it previously. In addition to the extra level of detail that one would expect from Master Grade, it does look to me at least that they've changed up the proportions a little bit. The whole suit is a lot bigger and bulkier than I remember the Zaku Warrior being, and it has an overall more muscular look. Now I think they did this mostly to differentiate it from the existing no grade 1/100 scale Zaku Warrior because it's a Master Grade, they want to make it look a little different. And you know, maybe just in case the grade level up isn't enough for some people, they want to make the design different enough that even people who already have the no grade will still want to get the Master Grade. Now we don't know what any of the gimmicks on this kit are going to be yet, but it's a Master Grade, so it's probably going to be able to do some pretty awesome stuff. And also I don't have any of the release information for any of these kits on me at the moment, so if you want to know when any of these kits are coming out or how much they're going to cost, I'm going to have all that information down in the description below. So moving right along, let's look at the real grade Tallgeese III. Now this kit I am not as keen on. I am kind of a fan of the Tallgeese III. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of it, but something about this kit doesn't feel right. And I think it mostly comes down to the head. Now the biggest problem I have with this kit is the way that the crest on the Tallgeese III looks. Now, I will admit this may just be how the Tallgeese III has always looked, and I'm just weird for thinking it looks weird. But my biggest exposure to the Tallgeese III was through the kit that I'm about to show you, and this is the high-grade fighting action Tallgeese Remodel from the 1990s. Now this is a pretty old kit, and it is also, if you're at all familiar with this, you know this kit is absolutely terrible. Literally the whole thing is molded in white. This was basically the Unicorn Gundam painting ver before the Unicorn Gundam painting ver. And because this kit was completely white, I did try to paint it, so you're just going to have to excuse my absolutely horrendous Gundam marker paint job. But what I really want to show you guys here is the head sculpt on this kit, because I think this looks a lot cooler than what we're getting with the real grade. Now to me, this is a much better head sculpt. The crest on the front looks thinner and longer, and I think this is a much better look for the Gundam. I think the thinner details kind of fit in with the modern Gunpla aesthetic a lot more, and it just appeals to the general kind of aesthetics that I like to see on my Gunpla. And now if we switch back to the real grade Tallgeese III, you can see that they are going in a bit of a more classic direction, probably more accurate to the anime, seeing as this is what they did with the Master Grade Tallgeese III as well, where the crest is a bit thicker and also looks a little bit softer around the edges. It's a really minor thing that probably a lot of people won't care about, but I just thought I'd mention it because it bothered me so much. So let's talk about Hathaway's Flash, because that's the thing that's happening this winter. Now, of course, because we're getting the Hathaway's Flash movies, we are getting Hathaway Flash model kits with it as well, because let's face it, that's basically the whole point of the Gundam anime. And the first kit we are seeing is actually not the Kasei Gundam, which is apparently, as far as I know, the main character suit of the series. Instead, we're seeing the Penelope Gundam. Now this is a very similar suit to the Kasei. It's got a similar bulky aesthetic. However, the Penelope Gundam is actually a little bit bigger even than the Kasei Gundam, and all of the extra armor parts on the Gundam can actually come off, or at least they're supposed to come off. Seeing as this is a high-grade model, it is entirely possible that the unarmored form will be a separate kit, and as for whether or not we'll be getting that separate unarmored kit, well, we just don't know yet because this is the only prototype we've seen. Going off just what we can see here, though, with the high-grade prototype we have in front of us, this does look like it's going to be a fairly complicated and large mobile suit. I would imagine this kit to be somewhere in probably the same price and size range as the high-grade Kshatriya. It's definitely not going to be a cheap kit, so hopefully it lives up to the price tag. Now another really big thing we've been seeing a lot of this year is Advance of Zeta. Bandai has been going absolutely wild with Advance of Zeta kits because I guess they finally discovered that it's a great way for them to make a ton of money through hundreds of thousands of different variants, and of course we're getting a whole lot more of those. So first off, we have the Primrose, which we'd seen a little bit of before, but now we've got a lot more detail on it. Now this is something that I am not familiar with at all. Advance of Zeta is just a massive gray area for me when it comes to Gundam lore, but it is certainly a very cool looking add-on. Now going off the name, it does appear to be an escape pod of some sort, and this has a pretty awesome combination with the Hazel custom. Now I'm not entirely sure if this picture right here is literally just the Hazel with the Primrose, or if there's parts added on from other kits in true Advance of Zeta fashion, but just going off what I see in this picture, it does look like a very cool design. Also in Advance of Zeta news, we are getting a slightly confusing new Advance of Zeta Master Grade. Now, I've talked to a lot of people about this, I've looked at a lot of pictures, read a lot of translations of stuff, and what I'm pretty sure this is this is a conversion kit for the old Master Grade GM Quel to turn it into the Hazel II. Now I know that seems kind of weird and convoluted, but going off the price of the kit and what I've heard from some other people, that seems to be what this is. It's a bit of an odd choice, I suppose, seeing as the GM Quel is a very, very old Master Grade, but I suppose if you really want a Hazel II, that is the way to do it. Seeing as from what little I understand about Advance of Zeta, the Hazel II seems to be a lot closer to the GM Quel than the other Hazel variants are. And now it's time to talk about the Maganacs. But not just any old Maganacs, the Maganac 36 pack, because that's a thing that exists now. I can't believe we live in a day where not only do we have a high-grade Maganac, but there is a 36 pack, which is literally every Maganac ever produced minus the 4 Commander custom versions, which are being released as separate 2-packs. So they are literally making a kit for every Maganac in existence. This is absolutely insane. If you look at the picture I'm throwing up on the screen right now, you can see exactly what the breakdown is of what you get in this pack. So you get 36 bodies, and then you get an assortment of other add-on pieces you can use to convert this into different variants of the Maganac. So if you go ahead and take a look at this, you can get a pretty good idea of what you'll be getting in the box. And this is not going to be a cheap set either. I believe it's going to be in the $450 range, and I'm pretty sure that is before any kind of middleman markup or shipping fees, which I imagine wouldn't be cheap either, seeing as this is 36 high-grade models. Now, if we're to continue on the premium Bandai train, I suppose we could look at a couple of smaller HGUC add-on sets. So first we have the Unicorn version of the Hyakushiki Mega Launcher. This was something we saw very briefly near the end of Unicorn as a nice little nod to this classic weapon from Zeta Gundam. Now they're showing this with Conroy's G-Gun. It's not exactly clear yet if the G-Gun is actually going to come with the gun or if it's just going to be the gun on itself. Going off some previous releases we've gotten in this style, I'm leaning more towards the release just being the gun on its own. And speaking of accessories from Zeta Gundam, we've also got the Dodai Kai here. Now this is a bigger version of those flying platform things they'd use in a lot of the older Gundam shows, and this one is actually so big that you can fit 2 mobile suits on it side by side. Now this was something that I thought they already made, but I guess out of all the different flying platform kits they've made, they apparently haven't done this specific one, so this will be coming out later this year as a premium Bandai kit. So moving back into the world of regular old retail Gunpla, we have the SDCS Wing Zero custom. Now this is one of the few things we got as a SD, oh what was that line, X standard? Yeah, this was one of the few things we got as an X standard that I thought was actually kind of cool just because the old SD was so, well, old. But thankfully the cross silhouette looks like it's going to be a much better alternative to that X standard kit. It's got a lot more detail, it's got a lot more articulation, and it looks like you'll be able to fully wrap the wings all the way around the body to make that classic Wing Zero shielded form that I don't know the name of. And while we're talking about SDs, I guess we might as well knock out all the other little guys as well. So we got a new petite guy coming out because, well, let's face it, we always do. Petite guys are never going to end. And this one is a character guy of Sarah from Gundam Build Divers. And she looks pretty cute. Also looking pretty cute are the Black Tri-Stars versions of the Haro. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be a 3-pack or a single kit that will have these stickers for all the variations, but regardless, I'm sure this is going to be a very hot item as, well, let's face it, who doesn't like Haro? Another really cool little addition we'll be seeing soon that isn't really necessarily Gunpla specifically, but it's honestly just too cool for me not to mention it, is a new set of effect parts from the Figurize line. Now, without my knowledge, Figurize has actually been putting out a lot of really cool effect part sets lately. They've got some explosion effects, some shockwave effects, some lightning effects, all of them really great looking and designed to kind of work with both Figurize and Gunpla. And this newest set they're doing appears to be a set of blast effects that are also designed so they can actually work directly with the new Gundam's funnels. So this is going to be a pretty awesome way to display your real grade new Gundam without having to get a P-Bandai add-on set Finally. I really like what they've done with the Figurized effect line so far, and I hope they keep this level of quality into the future. Displayed right next to the Master Grade F90 that we've already seen quite a lot of was the Master Grade Crossbone X0 Ver-Ka, another premium Bandai Master Grade. This guy rounds out the Crossbone foursome and has always been my personal favorite Crossbone variant. The shotguns look awesome, and while we haven't seen them in their sword form, I'm sure they're going to look just as cool as the high grade did, if not cooler. Probably cooler because Ver-Ka. Now, with this being a Master Grade, it would have been cool if they found some way to maybe put an extra finish on the parts to give it that real true silver look, but from what I remember of the high grade, it really wasn't actually that bad even out of the box. And I guess all that leaves at this point is the high grade Gundam Sandrock. Now, we've known about this kit for a while. It was announced practically alongside the Maganacs, but this is, I think, the first time we've seen a real good look at the actual model kit itself, not a resin prototype, not some weird early concept thing. This looks to be the actual Sandrock model we'll be getting at retail. And not only are we getting it at retail, we have retail confirmation for it as well. We know exactly when it's coming out. That's going to be in August, and we know it's going to be for about 1,500 yen. So the price of this seems right in line with the Wing Gundam and Wing Zero that they've already released. And the kit itself looks great. We can see it right here using the clear orange or clear red versions of the Shotel blades. The body of the kit looks great. I am liking the design a lot. The V-fin does look a little cheap, but it's a high grade, so what are you going to expect? They're always going to give you those weird toothbrush tips on them anyways. From the looks of the elbow and knee joints, it does also seem like this kit will be reusing the frame runner from the high grade After Colony Wing Zero, which makes a lot of sense since they already reused that for the Gion Ultron. And I would say that just about wraps up Shizuoka Hobby Show 2019 quite nicely. There might have been some other minor stuff that I missed, but I tried to hit mostly just the big cool stuff that I think a lot of you guys would care more about. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe for more general Gundam and Gunpla content, and as always, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I will see you next time. Take care, guys.